think we just enjoyed each other's company, pretty much.
And so paint a picture of what happened when you took your final harbour captain check, got a ticket to...
Well, I got fired from harbor captain.
Why did you get fired?
Well, there was a GoldenEye, this huge boat that wanted to come to our harbor. And I got so excited, I'm like, the GoldenEye is coming. This is my big moment as harbor captain. So they call me and they're like, we're the GoldenEye. We'd like to visit your harbor. And I'm like, holy shit. But we're it was a tiny, tiny harbor. We clearly didn't have space for the GoldenEye.
How big is the GoldenEye?
The GoldenEye was like a yacht in a small Swedish harbor. Like, it doesn't match. So I booked them and I ran into my boss office and I was like, the GoldenEye is coming. It's gonna be awesome. And she's like, no, what are you doing? You clearly can't have this person coming here. And I was like, oh. And she's like, call them back immediately. And I was like, but I didn't take their number. so the GoldenEye had to come no matter what. So I kind of messed up.
So the captain of the GoldenEye showed up.
Yeah.
And did you have to go forward and talk to him?
No, I had already been fired at that point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wasn't even allowed to.
And actually, that wasn't the first kind of misdemeanor that happened at the harbour, was it?
You were making me say this. Yeah, I never taken a shit at the floor before, but I did take a shit at the floor in the harbor. Before I got the job at working at the harbor, there had been an accident at the harbor because they had public toilets, and we usually party pretty close in the harbor, and I had eaten something weird that night.
What was it?
I think it was my friend that put laxatives in like the béarnaise sauce. Do you have béarnaise sauce?
Béarnaise.
Béarnaise, sorry. Yeah. Béarnaise sauce. It was like, what's it called when everyone brings something to a party? Food?
Don't know.
We call it a knit party. Everyone brings something.
Right.
Right. I brought the steak. My cousin brought the béarnaise sauce. He put something. I know my cousin. He would definitely put something in the béarnaise sauce.
Yeah.
He put laxatives in that shit. I felt it a few hours later at the party. I'm like, okay, I need to shit right now, or else I'm gonna shit myself in front of everyone. So I ran. I never ran to taking a shit before. It was that state of emergency. I even thought, like, should I just go behind the cars outside? I'm like, no, the toilets are right there. I can make it. And then there's a huge line in front of the toilets, and I'm like, guys, this is an emergency. I need to go. And no one listened to me. I'm like, what are you doing? This is important. So I kind of just ran in anyway. And finally, I find a toilet because it had the door had a lock on it. But I opened the door, and it was a shower. And my butthole had already decided the fate of what was going to happen in that room, no matter what the room it was. So I squatted down and took a shit in the shower. A massive shit in the shower. And I obviously later I got a job at that very harbor, and they would always tell the story about the man that took a shit in the shower, and I would always go like, that's horrible. How could anyone do that? But I also try to play devil's advocate a little bit, like maybe he was just having a bad day. Maybe he ate something bad. So yeah. It was funny. That was my in, you know, even though I got fired, well, I took a shit in the shower and you had to clean it, so it's okay.
When did you last go back to the Harbour Club?
Well, obviously now I can never go back, clearly, so... Actually, they have a great restaurant. I love to go back every time I can. At this university. I really hated it. It was the worst time ever.
What was so bad about it?
Well, because the first 2 weeks of university is we have something called nollning, where you're supposed to just it's kind of like hazing, I guess. Yeah, first 2 weeks hazing, optional. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna go if it's optional. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. I'll be playing video games. And then I come back in 2 weeks and like all the friend groups are already made and there's just me like, all right, not fitting in anywhere. And it was just,
Were you the only one that sat out?
yeah, exactly. So I felt like such an outsider in this huge group of people and I didn't know where to fit in.
And what is Swedish hazing like?
You just drink a lot.
Because I think over here they have like Freshers Week, which I don't think I think it's just the drinking, not any of the crazy other...
Well, you dress up and you do all this weird shit.
Right.
And I was just kind of like in a, I don't want to do that kind of mood. Which obviously then led to, like, I had no friends. I didn't know how to do it. All these simple things of, like, where do I sit? What do I do during the 5 minutes break? It became, like, a huge problem, and I just hated going there. Just for the social aspect of it.
Yeah, an expression called Billy No Mates. Like,
Okay.
how long before you made a friend?
I had some friends. I did, but I never really connected that well. Especially because I didn't care about school. Like, I got into that university not for my grades, but because I blew my grades on video games. But I did an entrance exam over a year, and that got me in. So I got into one of the best schools. You need top grades and everything. Like, so I'm in this school with just people that really are passionate about their schoolwork, where I'm just like, I just want to play games. I didn't make any sense. Want one quick and you have no connections. So I was so desperate to prove my parents wrong, like I can get a job. So I got a job selling hot dogs. And it wasn't that bad. They had, the catch of it was that it was right next to my university, like across the street of my university. But it was sort of like the odd street of it, so it wasn't like super popular, but every once in a while someone from my class, which I clearly didn't even know, but they knew who I was, saw me there and it was like, oh, you're here now. Cool. The school where literally like anyone that finishes it will become like a boss or whatever, and then there's me in the hot dog stand.
And you didn't interfere with any of their hot dogs or anything?
No, I wasn't vengeful or spiteful, no. Funny enough, my old teacher came once. My old teacher, and he pretended that he didn't know it was me. Yeah, and I was like, dude, I'm not embarrassed. Come on. But no, he pretended he didn't know me. I guess he thought it was so embarrassing.
Did you?
It's a bit cringy. And
I guess he didn't expect to see you there.
Yeah.
Did he believe in you? Did he think you were going to go far?
No, I don't think so. He wasn't a very good teacher. Fuck him.
Did you get to a point where you could think you could never eat another hot dog as long as you live?
No, I made great hot dogs.
What's the secret to a great foodie?
Well, actually, I just made hamburgers. We sold hamburgers as well. Well, what we did with the hot dogs, because the guy that worked there was so cheap, or not, that's not right. He was resourceful. So he was like, don't cook the hot dogs, because if we make too many, we're gonna have to throw them away. So just microwave them, dip them in the water, and people don't know the difference. Yeah, it was pretty gross.
And that's what you did?
Yeah, he told me to do it. Am I guilty here?
Have you ever been back to the hot dog stand?
No, but I really should visit it again. It was funny because like the boss in the harbor hated me. She hated me. She was so nice to everyone, like high-fiving them, and I was like, okay. But this guy really liked me because I was.
You did what you were told.
Yeah, clearly I dipped the fucking thing. I did it.
You must have saved him a load of money.
Yeah, especially on the scarce napkin control that I did as well, not give out too many. But yeah, no, he really liked me. So I honestly, even though the job was shit, the fact that I had a great boss was pretty good actually. And he would follow my YouTube thing as well. Like I showed it to him, and he's like, "Whoa, that's really cool. There's some money in there." And I'm like, "Yeah, if people get big, they get make a lot of money." And he's like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I was like, "Yeah," because that was clearly my dream at that point for it to grow, so I can make a living of it. And then, boom, I got my contract with the network. So I made no money in a year making YouTube videos to a great amount of money in one second essentially, because no ads, and then I had ads on my videos. So I was like, well, goodbye. I remember, man, this is terrible. I shouldn't be saying this, but I never told him I was quitting because I felt so bad about it. So, and I was supposed to meet Marcia, so I was flying to Marcia the next day, and I had just dropped off the keys. And then I was landing in Amsterdam in between, and I checked my phone, and he had called me like 10 times. And I was like, oh, I'll have to call him. And then he was crying the fact that I had quit, and it was just so sad. Yeah, I'm sorry if you're. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, but we made some great hot dogs together.